are so well. So today, inshallah, I'm going to start with another lesson, grammar lesson, which is about quantifiers. Okay, so the first question come to your mind is, what are quantifiers? Okay, what do we mean with the word quantifiers? By the way, I know that you know quantifiers, but you don't know that they are named like that. Okay, so anyway, again, we're going to deal with countable and uncountable nouns, the use, sure, of quantifiers, and again, we're going to give some examples. So, first of all, I'm going to start by giving some examples of quantifiers. Okay, so I'm going to write them. So here, I've written some examples of, as I told you, quantifiers. They are some, any, much, many, a lot of, a few, and a little. So these are the some quantifiers. So I know that you always use much, many, some, any, etc. But maybe you don't know that are named quantifiers. Clear? So clear now the topic of our lesson. So we are going to talk about some, much, many, any, etc. Okay? So again, when I say what are quantifiers, what's their use? When do we use them? So simply speaking, and in a very easy way, I'm going to say that quantifiers are words, des mots. Okay? They are words used to express quantity. Ce sont des mots pour exprimer la quantité. Point final. Clear? So, in an easy, in a simple way, quantifiers are words to express quantity. And sure, when we talk about quantity, sure we need nouns. Okay? Quantity of things. Okay? The quantity of things. And those or these things, some of them are countable, others are uncountable. Yani quand je parle de la quantité, il y a des choses qu'on peut compter, des choses qu'on peut pas. Okay? So here I'm going to talk about countable, uncountable nouns. Des choses qu'on peut compter et des choses qu'on ne peut pas. Clear? So let's give a definition of countable nouns and explain them. So let's explain the meaning of countable nouns. Okay? So countable nouns are things or are nouns. Les choses, ou bien ce sont des noms, yes? Are things that we can count. So countable nouns are things that we can. So please focus on can. That we can count. Qu'on peut compter. And when I say count, which means I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. And since I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., so they have singular and they have plural forms. Okay, so I can count them, so I can say 1. So this 1 is singular form. 2, 3, and so on and so forth, so it's a plural form. Okay, so countable nouns, we can count them, on peut les compter. Alors, on peut avoir deux formes, singular and plural. Okay, singulier et pluriel. For example, par exemple, a boy. A, which means one. One boy. A boy or one boy. Two boys. Two boys, plural. So I can count one boy, two boys, three boys, and so on and so forth. However, uncountable nouns are things that we can't, okay? We can't count them. On ne peut pas les compter. Now, when I say on ne peut pas les compter, alors they have only one form, which is the singular form. Tant que ما نكليش نحسبه, alors عنده form واحدة اللي هي singular. I'm going to talk a lot about this. I'm going to write down again. Here, as I told you, so there are uncountable nouns. So you can't count them, can't. And they have only one form, which is the singular form. So here I've given some examples, okay, of uncountable nouns, okay. So for example, the abstract nouns, كما قلت les noms abstraits, l'amour, l'air, avec les choses qu'on ne peut pas toucher, okay, des choses abstraites. So love, for example. You have also liquids, les liquides هما uncountable, water, juice, oil, and so on and so forth. You've got also money, So money countable noun. Okay, we don't count flour. When I say powders, les poudres. Okay, so like flour. Also bread, du pain. Okay, also it's uncountable. Grains, les grains. Okay, grains and meat, اللحم. Clear? And meat. So all these are uncountable nouns. Clear? The question is, since they are uncountable, how can I count them? Alors هما uncountable ما يمكنش نحسبهم but we measure them. We measure them ça veut dire كنعبروهم كنوزنوهم. Clear? So we measure them. So I repeat, the uncountable noun we can't count but we can measure. Ça veut dire كنعطيوهم سعة باش يتحسبوا سواء الكيلو سواء اللتر سواء الدولار سواء اوكي كل حاجة شنو السعة ديالها. Clear? Or we use, for example, containers. Like, for example, the bottle, the cup, القرعة, الكاس, etc. Alors الحاجة اللي كندير فيها الشيء اللي ما يمكنش نحسبه بالوحدة. Clear? So I hope that countable and uncountable nouns are quite clear. Countable, we can say 1, 2, 3. So we have singular and plural. Uncountable, we can't count, so we have only one form, which is singular. And here are the examples that I have given of uncountable nouns. Good. So to talk about these uncountable and uncountable nouns, we use quantifiers. Some, any, much, many, etc. But the question is, when can I use them? Do I use them all with countable and uncountable noun? Or there are some rules? Sure, there are rules, and sure, we can't use them all with countable or all with uncountable, but we have some rules to follow that right now I'm going to explain. Okay? Nice. So here we're going to deal with them in groups. Okay? Some and any, much and many, lots of, few and a little. Okay? So let's start. Some and any. So the first thing that you have to pay attention are two things: the noun, whether countable or uncountable, and the form of the sentence. When I say the form of the sentence, it's affirmative, negative, or interrogative. Alors جوج الحوايج اللي خصنا نردو لهم البال. واش لو نون countable or uncountable؟ واش يمكن لي نحسبو ولا ما يمكنش؟ And the form of the sentence, la forme ديال la phrase, واش c'est une phrase affirmative, négative ou bien interrogative. Clear? So let's start some and any. So some is used with countable and uncountable now. Alors هنا ما عندناش المشكل. Some كتمشي مع countable, les choses qu'on peut compter, ou les choses qu'on ne peut pas. So countable and uncountable nouns. And it's used with affirmative sentence. Affirmative sentence, full stop. Ça veut dire, can I use some with negative or interrogative? No. Yes, I can use it with countable and uncountable, but I can't use it with negative and interrogative, but only with the affirmative form. Let's see the example. I have some friends. Friends is a countable noun. One friend, two friends. And I have some money. Money, احنا قبل قلنا, it's uncountable noun and uncountable noun. So I can't count it. ما كنقولش واحد الفلوسة, جوج الفلوسات. كنقول $1, one dirham, etc. Ça veut dire عطيت السعة اللي هي الدولار ولا الدرهم ولا الليرة ولا. Clear? So some with countable and uncountable noun and with affirmative form. Very good. So we still have the negative and the interrogative form. Yes? Good. So any is used with countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, both of them again. Encore une fois, كتمشي مع les choses qu'on peut compter, بحال some, مع les choses qu'on peut compter ou les choses qu'on ne peut pas. Okay? But we use it with negative and interrogative form. Which means what? The similarities, يعني كيتلاقاو جوج بهم في countable and uncountable, ولكن اختلاف عندهم أن some في affirmative و any negative ولا interrogative. Clear? So let's see an example that I have written there. Have you got any friends? So here it's a question, and friends is a countable noun. Okay? So have you got any money? Money is uncountable noun, and here it's a question. So let's give some examples with negative. The same example, I don't have any friends. So here the sentence is negative with countable noun. I don't have any money. So here the example is negative with money, which is an uncountable noun. So I hope that some and any are quite clear. Okay, so let's move on to much and many. Nice. So let's start with the second group, which is much and many. And both of them are quantifiers. So much is used with uncountable noun. Des choses qu'on ne peut pas compter. And it goes with affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. Okay, which means with all forms. Okay, for example, I have much time. So time is uncountable. Negative form, I don't have or I haven't got much time. Again, here the sentence is negative. Do you have much time? The question here or the sentence here is a question, is in interrogative form. Okay, much with uncountable nouns and with affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. Clear? Let's move on to many. Many is used with countable nouns. Ça veut dire les choses qu'on peut compter. Things that I can count. Clear? I have singular and plural. So, and again, it's used with affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. Ok? Encore une fois, les formes de phrases. Une phrase affirmative, négative ou bien interrogative. For example, there are many people. So people there is countable noun. One person, two people. Use many. So there are many people. There aren't many people. Are there many people? So here, نقدر تستعملها مع كاع les formes de phrase. So the difference between much and many, much with uncountable and many with countable. يعني الفرق الوحيد اللي بيناتهم أن much كتمشي مع uncountable و many كتمشي مع countable. Par contre كيمشيو مع كاع les formes de phrase. Clear? I hope that it's okay. So let's move on please to the following group. Very good. Now let's move on to a lot of. By the way, we can say a lot of or lots of. So you put a, you remove s from here, or you remove a, you put s from here. So a lot of, lots of. They are the same. Ce sont les mêmes. Okay. So let's start. We use a lot of or lots of with countable and uncountable noun. It's used with affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. كتمشي مع l'affirmative والnégative ou l'interrogative form. Okay, so there is no problem. Here, let's see the examples. There are lots of students. Lots of, ça veut dire beaucoup. Students avec S, hit R, hit lot of, ça veut dire beaucoup. And there is a lot of pollution. Pay attention here. We have is, there is. Why? Because pollution is uncountable noun. يكون عنده form وحدة اللي هي قلنا singular. So غتمشي معاه is. There is a lot of pollution. حيت أنه abstract. And there is a lot of noise. The same thing with noise. Noise is uncountable noun. صداع ميمكنش نقيسو. An abstract noun. So there is a lot of noise. It's an uncountable noun. Clear? So lots of with countable and uncountable, and with affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. I hope that is quite clear. We still have only one group, which is few and little. So let's move on to see the difference between them. So we deal with the last group, which is few and little. So few is used with countable nouns, okay? Used with countable nouns and with an affirmative sentence. So we can't use few with negative or interrogative, only with affirmative sentence, and the noun should be countable. Okay, it should be countable. Ça veut dire it should have singular and plural. And normally the noun here is plural. For example, I have few friends. I have few friends. Here, I would like to mention that we can use a few. Okay, another article here, which is a few. So few is juste un petit peu. Okay, juste un petit peu. And when we add a few, we add a little bit. We add a little bit. For example, I have few friends, let's say 2. But when you say I have a few friends, a few, which means 3. So few, which means just 2, and a few, which means 3. The same thing for little and a little. Little is just a little bit, and when you say a little, you add again somehow, okay? Little is used with uncountable nouns, okay? Uncountable nouns, les choses qu'on peut pas compter, and with an affirmative sentence, with only affirmative sentence. For example, there is little noise, or there is a little noise. So little, just a little bit. Alors we can't say 2 or 3, but little bit, and a little زدنا على داك little bit واحد شويه، يعني هذه في الدوغري اكثر من هذه، ونفس الشيء بالنسبه للتل زايده على little. Clear? I hope that they are quite clear, or quantifiers in general are quite clear. You have to focus on 2 important things اللي هما قلنا la forme ديال la phrase واش c'est une phrase affirmative, négative ou bien interrogative, and the same time you have to concentrate whether the noun is countable and uncountable noun. يعني نركز واش la forme، نركز على la forme de la phrase ونركز على le nom واش countable ولا uncountable in order to write a correct sentence باش نكتب une phrase بالquantifier correct. Clear? Here I've given some examples. Sure, some I said, for example, I have met some friends, okay? Some, so with affirmative sentence and with a plural nouns, okay? There aren't any absent students. There aren't with any negative sentence with countable nouns, okay? For example, how much water? Water uncountable, so we use much, and it's a question, how much water do you drink every day? Again, another example, how many sisters do you have? Sisters countable, so how many, we can use it with a question too. So how many sisters do you have? We have a lot of, so a lot of people came to my party. Here it's an affirmative sentence, and people is a countable noun. And finally, I've used a few. Just a few cars in the street. So a few with an affirmative sentence with, again, countable noun. So I hope that the lesson is quite clear, and quantifiers now are clear. And please, if there is any question, you just write it down in your comments, and sure, I'm going to answer you. And see you next time, inshallah. And I'm not going to disappear again, just wait for my new videos. See you next time. Goodbye.